Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing The Swimmer, the 1968 film directed by Frank Perry. So this is one of those little gems. I'd never heard of this film, but a friend told me that it was one of her favourites. It's a really surprising film, really enigmatic and profoundly disturbing. It's one of those films that at face value is very simple, but underneath there are many possible meanings and interpretations, and the end certainly doesn't really clarify very much. On the surface, it's an exploration of kind of suburban malaise and the elusive nature of success and the fragility of the American dream. It's about childhood optimism being replaced by adult disappointment. It's about living in a delusion. The film follows Ned, played by Burt Lancaster, who's amazing in this film, I think. A seemingly successful and charismatic man who on a whim decides to swim home via the pools of his affluent neighbours in suburban USA. At one level, it seems like a whimsical adventure, initially light-hearted. However, there's something not quite right about it from the start. Ned is only wearing a swimming costume and he's crossing a forested valley via these pools. It's such a quirky, strange thing to do that it doesn't really make sense. It kind of has a nightmare quality to it from the start, even though the mood is on the surface very jolly. However, as the film progresses, it gradually reveals deeper, more troubling undercurrents. These are never fully explained, but the small hints that we get from the conversations in each poolside encounter are suggestive of something quite big or traumatic, even as big as murder or sexual trauma. Burt Lancaster is excellent in this really odd role. He embraces a kind of nuanced mix of charm, desperation, and naivety. The physicality of the role, with Lancaster often appearing in just swimming trunks, adds to the raw, vulnerable depiction of a man that's having some kind of personal crisis. I really enjoyed the cinematography. The use of colour and light captures the idyllic, almost dreamlike quality of the suburban landscape, which contrasts really starkly with the growing sense of unease as Ned's journey progresses. The use of zoom and close-ups also creates something quite unsettling. The themes of The Swimmer are profound, I think. It certainly leaves you thinking afterwards. Ned's journey is a metaphor for some kind of process, life, death, perhaps Judgment Day. The pools definitely symbolise stages, almost like a trial perhaps. As he swims from pool to pool, he's confronting his ageing, his failures, the loss of his youthful ideas. And clearly there is something more sinister that he's deluding himself about. And increasingly we realise that he's being led towards his delusion being shattered. One intriguing thing about the film is that the pools seem to deteriorate throughout the film. Early in the film, the pools are luxurious, but they get smaller as the film progresses. Towards the end, the pools are either empty of water or really crowded public pools. This deterioration seems to parallel the increasing realization that Ned is in this deteriorating process towards something bad. If I was to criticise one thing about the film, it would be the strict linear structure of it. There's no real surprises. After a few poolside experiences, we kind of realise that something odd is happening. And the story does evolve as we're drip-fed facts here and there, suggested of much more traumatic undercurrents. But the film follows this formula a little bit too strictly, I think, although the ending does leave open lots of room for interpretation. I did find it quite predictable at the same time. In conclusion, The Swimmer is a solid film that I do think stands the test of time. It feels like classic cinema and would certainly be a great Saturday afternoon TV watch. I do think that it could have gone a little further in terms of providing some twists or surprises, as it did become a little bit predictable. But overall, I do recommend this quirky and unusual film. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.